What's going on, guys? We are back here again today for another gear discussion. You guys have probably seen this article going around looking at the CEO of Guitar Center, just kind of talking about some observations, some issues within the company, thoughts going forward about addressing issues with the business. So without further ado, let's get into a discussion here. Right off the bat, I'm gonna start by saying I'm not in any way here to knock Guitar Center, hate on them or anything like that. As a person coming from predominantly a retail background, I want nothing more than to see all types of stores succeed. Now, obviously, it goes without saying, Guitar Center does have its fair share of issues, which of course we'll be getting into. I will be sure to post a link to the article down below if you want to read along. Let's go over a couple talking points. So the new CEO of Guitar Center, Mr. Gail Del Porto, talks about seeing a lot of cheap $300 guitars when you walk into your local Guitar Center. He goes on to say, I think one of the biggest challenges as a company is somewhere along the way we forgot who our core customer was. Talks about we obviously need to expand the pro range of quality gear. Obviously we need to make products, high-end electric guitars, easy, accessible for customers to demo. He mentions, of course, having all the high-end gear on that high-level shelf where it's not really accessible. If I'm a serious musician, if I walk into a Guitar Center, it does not feel like the right place for me to go anymore. Okay, so there's definitely a lot to unpack here. One of the biggest things is we have to recognize that across all different retailers, of course, you're gonna have your entry-level price point, you're going to have your kind of mid-level stuff, right? And then of course you're gonna have your high-end, more upper quality, perhaps more boutique gear. So I really think that like for any type of business model, right? Any type of physical storefront, you need to have a fairly healthy variety within your product lineup. Not everybody's gonna come in looking to drop 2, 3, 4, 5 grand on a guitar. Of course, you're gonna wanna have some of that basic entry-level stuff, right? You're gonna do a higher volume of kind of that basic price point. You're gonna sell a lot more $300 guitars than you're going to sell perhaps your $4,000 or $5,000 guitars. I would say most of you guys probably can agree. Guitar Center, we gotta have realistic expectations here, guys. We're not gonna expect them to carry every brand and every style, every lineup, this, that, and the other. I think what they should be focusing on is strengthening that mid-range price point, right? Maybe your, let's say, $700 to maybe $1,500 guitar range. And let's go ahead and bring in a bit more as far as kind of that upper end of the spectrum. If you do get that guy that's got a little bit deeper pockets and he does value that in-store experience. Because there is money to be made there, guys. Now, I imagine a lot of people are gonna say, well, you know what, anybody that wants a high-end guitar, they're just gonna order online. I think that is often true, but I would say that a lot of people that are willing to throw down some top dollar for a really nice guitar, if they had the opportunity to see one in person, I can assure you those people would probably make the time to go in the store and check it out. So again, I'm not saying we're gonna get every possible high-end guitar, but we do need to give those people an opportunity so if they wanna spend money in the store, they can. Let's not push them out by only carrying this price point stuff and essentially forcing them to go online. Right? We all know what happened to Sam Ash, okay? So those guys are done. Guitar Center, if there's gonna be a saving grace, if you guys are gonna find a new game plan, now's the time. Now, something else I wanna look at here, he goes on to say he wants customers to walk into the store, have that kind of same experience when he was a younger guy. He's like in shock and awe with how amazing it is. It feels like a high-end gear playground. Man, I think the dude, his heart is in the right place. He does make a pretty valid point, but again, this is kind of where my retail background is gonna come in. I love the idea of like this fun, magical playground where everybody can kind of test out gear, but like, let's be realistic here, guys. A playground is not a profitable place, right? The picture that is being painted right now in my mind is like a Sunday afternoon. Me and my buddies, from stores, we still joke, we call them Saturday, Sunday samplers, right? They're coming in, they're just kicking tires, right? They're just gonna kind of taste and touch, maybe chip a headstock here or there. Maybe they'll buy something, maybe they won't. More than likely, they're probably not going to buy. And if they do, they're gonna go online. I get it, we want it to be a positive environment where people with interest in gear can go and kind of geek out. I do think that's a good thing, but I think it's fair to say that as a consumer, we really need to be careful because if we continue to go in the store to kick the tires and test things out and then buy online, this obviously is at the expense of the store, right? So another thing too, a lot of people, they're gonna buy things online, but then they wanna use the physical store as a return hub, right? So it's like, you're gonna do this buy online, return in store. I mean, come on, man, it's not really helping out your local market. Like I said on the Sam Ash video, you really can't be all that upset when you see stores are closing when you didn't really make any effort to support your local store, whether it be a mom and pop or a large mega store like a Sam Ash or Guitar Center. I like the idea of this whole kind of fun playground thing, but like, look, man, a playground is not a profitable place, right? I know it's not meant to be taken literally, but we want this to be a positive environment where people can buy different ranges of gear, whether it be beginner, intermediate, or advanced. As I've said before, we need to have a place where if people want to take lessons, they can take lessons, right? Get them in the store, make it a one-stop shop. If you need something like a basic setup, maybe a pickup swap, a general repair, a string change, you should be able to go to any Guitar Center and have access to these services, right? Now again, I know a lot of people are gonna do their own stuff, they're gonna do their own setups and repairs, that's fine, but if you're a gear enthusiast, you wanna be able to go in and shop and have access to all these different types of resources. These are all things that obviously could only be done in a physical storefront, right? You're not shipping your guitar to some .com e-commerce platform for a string change or a setup, right? You want to be able to do that in your local market. So again, just something to bear in mind when just looking at kind of these multiple pillars of what make a store successful. So all of that being said, I definitely wish nothing but the best for Guitar Center, the new CEO. I hope they can implement some different improvements to perhaps save Guitar Center, elevate their standards, get things back on course. But kind of with what I'm reading in this article, I definitely have some concerns. Let's talk about staffing, because this is obviously going to be where I think Guitar Center gets the most negative criticism, and that's bad staffing, right? This is a problem in retail across the board, right? You've got your guys that just don't really care, right? They're just kind of standing around. They're just not really focused on, helping out customers. They might be shooting the breeze on the phone, just kind of scrolling. Maybe they're at back smoking a cigarette, this kind of stuff. So I think that, if we're gonna come up with that massive action plan to just kind of clean up the mess and fix Guitar Center, I'm cleaning house. I'm gonna get guys that are wanting to win, people that are showing up to work with a positive attitude. And for the guys that aren't carrying their weight, for the guys that are just not performing, there's the door. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be, hating on these guys, but at the end of the day, I come from a sales background, and I've seen a lot of people that are very proficient, and I've seen a lot of people that are basically just dead weight, that stand around and complain, and it brings down the overall morale of the team, and you can't have that. So one of the best ways to retain quality staff is to make sure that you take care of your staff. And that means you need to have these people on a sustainable compensation plan. I'm not advocating for people to get, free money and just have just this massive cushion of like some astonishing wage and expect them just to stand around and ring stuff up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand that, for the people that are out there looking to be proficient and productive, those guys need to be taken care of, right? So if the guy's out there, he's a top performer, he's producing some pretty good volume, dude, we got to take care of this guy. This kind of stuff is why I have appreciation, respect for the guy behind the counter. I know my stance might be a little bit different, so that's why it's important to me to make this video, right? So if we're gonna keep good quality staff, we need to make sure that we get these guys on a sustainable pay plan. Gotta take care of the people. So overall, tons of room for improvement, when it comes to these different topics of discussion within the future outlook of retailers, whether it be Guitar Center or any other big box store. If Guitar Center is really going to sustain, if they're going to continue to exist as a retailer, these guys are really going to have to go back to the drawing board. They're going to have to sharpen the pencils and figure out the game plan. I'm telling you guys, this calls for massive action right now. And quite frankly, I just don't know, seeing after what happened to Sam Ash, if there's really much hope. While I can appreciate the efforts from the CEO, I think his heart's in the right place, but it just might be too late, guys. It very well could be too late. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below as far as your future outlook with regard to Guitar Center. Be sure to share your experiences, share your stories. I'd be happy to respond in the comments below. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe for more. Gonna be doing a lot more discussion videos like this coming up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.